Welcome to the Insolvency and Law podcast, providing specialist insolvency and debt-related advice for business owners and individuals. For more information on debt recovery, business restructuring, and personal and corporate insolvency, visit our website www.insolvencyandlaw.co.uk or call us now on 020 7504 1300.
Hello, and welcome to the Insolvency and Law Business Advice Show, the podcast dedicated to debt recovery, credit management, and insolvency issues in England and Wales. In this episode, we're focusing on compulsory liquidation. Has a company entered compulsory liquidation owing you money? If so, keep listening to learn how to protect your interests and get back as much as possible. This podcast summarizes how unsecured creditors can increase their dividend prospects in compulsory liquidations. For more information, download a free report from the Resource Centre at insolvencyandlaw.co.uk. Better still, purchase a copy of The Beginner's Guide to Debt Recovery by Insolvency and Law Director, Peter Murray. So, first of all, what exactly is a compulsory liquidation? The process usually starts when an unpaid creditor files a winding-up petition in court against a company they believe is insolvent. If the court agrees to make the order, the case is sent to the official receiver, who is a court official employed by the government's insolvency service. If the official receiver determines there are assets to realize and investigations to conduct, they'll nominate a licensed insolvency practitioner to liquidate the company. The official receiver's first responsibility is to contact all the businesses the insolvent company owes money to, the creditors. Creditors will be informed that on a given date, the insolvent company was wound up by a court-issued compulsory order and placed into liquidation. So, now you know how a company gets into compulsory liquidation. Let me explain what the liquidator does. The liquidator's role is crucial because they will investigate the company's affairs, terminate any contracts, and report to the insolvency service on the company director's conduct. Additionally, the liquidator secures any assets owned by the insolvent company, turns these assets into cash, and transfers this money into the liquidation estate. Liquidators pay themselves out of the liquidation estate, and whatever's left is distributed equally among creditors. In far too many liquidations, creditors receive little or no money, simply because the funds in the liquidation estate have been eaten up by the liquidator's fees. Liquidators tend to charge on a time-cost basis. However, it's perfectly okay to suggest alternatives. Creditors can gain greater control by galvanizing and forming a creditors' committee to set the liquidator's fees. It's very hard for a creditor to identify a self-serving liquidator. And sadly, many of those who can have become apathetic after going through previous liquidations and never getting any money back. Nevertheless, in essence, creditors are partly responsible for the liquidator's pay, and this is where much of their power lies. In many cases, the liquidation process works better for creditors who replace the liquidator and appoint their own. However, once creditors have been notified of a compulsory liquidation, they only have a few days to form a group to replace the liquidator, so they must be swift and proactive. Insolvency and Law will take instructions to represent your interests and attend creditors' meetings on your behalf. In many cases, we're able to connect with other creditors and generate significant support before the meeting. Sadly, we're coming to the end of this episode. But don't worry, if you need more guidance and advice on compulsory liquidation, there are 3 simple things you can do. 1. Call Insolvency and Law today on 0207 504 1300 and speak with a business rescue specialist. 2. Download a free report on compulsory liquidation from the Resource Centre at insolvencyandlaw.co.uk. And 3. Purchase a copy of The Beginner's Guide to Debt Recovery, the latest book by Insolvency and Law Director, Peter Murray, available from Amazon, and all leading book retailers. Thanks for listening to the end of this podcast. Until next time, farewell.
Thank you for listening to the Insolvency and Law podcast. If you require additional guidance on any of the topics we covered today, visit the Resource Centre at our website, www.insolvencyandlaw.co.uk, or call us now on 020 7504 1300.